Microsoft PowerPoint 2007 Work Area Fundamentals. Now, whether you've used PowerPoint in the past, like an older version like 2003 or XP or 2000 or even old 98, 97, and even if you've never used PowerPoint ever, and this is your first time looking at it, you do need to understand the new look and feel that has been put into the Office products. So we're here to put the fun back in fundamentals as we take a look at, first off, the definitions. I might use the word slide or presentation or handout and note, and you might go, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Let's make sure we're on the same page with that. Office button. One of the new features of the Office 2007 product line is the Office button. And here in PowerPoint 2007, if you're looking for certain commands, you might want to find out where they are. That's also the same, or I should say the same thing is true with the Office ribbon, which we'll show you. We'll also take a look at the different view panes and the way you can look at your presentation as you're preparing it. And then finally, we're going to use something that's interesting new. It's called the QAT, the QUAT as some people call it. It's the Quick Access Toolbar. We'll show you how you can customize it to put those commonly used tools that you always use right there at the top of your screen. Before we really get started, we definitely want to have a couple of definitions out of the way, because I'll say the word presentation or a note or a slide, and you'll say, okay, what exactly are you referring to, Chris? Well, let's start off with presentation. A presentation is everything. It's the collection of slides. It could be one slide, it could be 100 slides, hopefully not 100 slides, but of slides, the notes that are attached to them, any animations that you put or transitions, that is the presentation. That's the whole kit and caboodle, or the whole kitchen sink, as I like to say. And this is going to be everything that's contained within the file that you save. So if I said something like the James Conrad presentation, it would be all of the stuff that I presented to James about maybe another video series I wanted to do with CBT Nuggets or with Dan. And so that would be all part of that presentation. Now a slide, on the other hand, right down here, that is a single pane or page of content. Now on a slide you can have pictures and backgrounds and text and funky animations going at the same time. You can add video, you can add audio sounds to it, but it's one slide. It's one page of content. Think one page in your book. But you can get a lot on that one slide, as you're going to see. Then we have the notes. Now the notes are different than handouts. And there's a little caveat to that, and I'll show you in just a second. Notes are information that's typed in, as we're going to show you, into the notes pane. And this is information that's seen only by the presenter on his laptop. And then meanwhile, you have a projector typically hooked up to your laptop or your computer, and that's projecting the presentation. Well, on that presentation, you'll never see the notes. So this is good for me to say, well, in 1977, there was this event took place, and it might not be on the screen 1977 with all that information, but I can add that to my presentation. This is really good to help keep your PowerPoint, as you're going to find out, your presentation's not just slamming text all up onto the page, and people can't even read it anymore. They get they death by verbiage on your PowerPoint presentation. So notes are good. Now handouts are different. Handouts are any printed pages that you output from PowerPoint. Typically, it's going to be the printed pages of the slides. Now, we in the industry, when we used to do this, there's a couple of derogatory terms that are used for these. I called them tree killers because you basically would print these slides out and no one would take them. You'd say, hey, in the back is my, if you want my slides. Hardly anybody ever did it. But of course, the one day that I didn't print them out, everybody wanted them. So I just had to learn to print maybe a few, and then if I ran out, I would then say, give me your email and I'll email you the presentation and you can print out your own pages of slides. Now, the handouts, here's the interesting point. Remember I said there was a caveat. You can tell the handouts to contain the notes. So you can add notes to your handouts. It's not just the actual page of the slide. When we get into printing and doing handouts, I'll show you how you can actually set that in your print dialog box. It'll say, what do you want to print out? You want to print out handouts, which will include the slides, or do you want the slide and the notes? What do you want to do? So we'll go ahead and open up our PowerPoint 2007, clicking Start. I have it actually pinned right here to my Start menu because this whole CBT Nugget video series I'm going to be training, this is all I'm going to be worrying about, so I might as well put it right there. Of course, you can go to your All Programs, find Microsoft Office, and go look for it there. But in my case, I've got so many programs here, we don't want to waste time doing that. So we're going to go ahead and click on Microsoft Office PowerPoint 2007. And as we've warned you, the Office environment for 2007 looks decidedly different than it did as early as 2003, the last major version of Office that came out. So with Microsoft PowerPoint 2007, the look and feel of the workspace area is not going to look and feel like what you're used to if you've ever used a previous version. Now, of course, if you're brand new to the whole Office products period, this is the first time you've ever used any Microsoft products, then to you it all looks new anyway, right? So hey, we're all on the same page here, so no worries about that. The two major differences that you are going to see between the older versions of Office and the newer versions of Office, and in this case PowerPoint, is the fact is that you have what is known as the Office ribbon. That's this area right here. I'm kind of circling it with my mouse here. And on the Office ribbon, we have taken what used to be the task bars. You'll remember that in the old 2003 world and even earlier, that you had a list of icons that you would click on to perform tasks. In this case, we've now grouped them together into groupings, which is what you see here. This is the clipboard grouping. This is the slides grouping. This is the font grouping. This is the paragraph, the drawing, etc., etc., etc. And we place it on a ribbon. Now, to move between the two areas, we use tabs. Here's the Home tab. Now, when I move my mouse over, notice how it says, oh, here's another tab, Insert tab. When I click on it, I get a whole new series of groupings of commonly used icons that I can use and tasks that I'm able to do. So the ribbon has essentially replaced the taskbar. So all of the places that you, or I should say all the things that you want to do with the ribbon, and you used to do with the taskbar, are right here. We're going to look at a lot of these. Design, you can see how you can change the design. Animations, when I want to add these animations between one slide and some things like that. Slideshow, which is going to be fun. We're going to show you how you can set up your slideshows and do certain things. If you want to review, we'll talk about this when we're doing collaboration in our collaboration nugget. And how you view things. We'll get a little bit more detail on that. We also, because this is Office 2007, if you've taken any of the other CBT Nugget video series, like from Emily or myself, you'll know that with Microsoft, they've really opened up to allow other people to play in their sandbox, which is nice. Now, this one is actually a couple. I've got the Camtasia Studio here, and that allows me to do certain things for record things and show camera preview. We'll actually have some fun with this and show you how you can use some of these add-ins. And by the way, this is not a sales pitch for Camtasia. It's just, it happens to be one of the programs I have on mine. There are other add-ins that you can control within Microsoft PowerPoint. One that comes to my mind is Microsoft Live Studio, the ability to do webcam presentations. Well, guess what? You get a little plug-in that actually works really well with PowerPoint on how to create slides and import them into the Microsoft Live Office. So it's kind of fun. We can do that. So this is the ribbon. That's the biggest thing that we're going to see that's a little different. The other is, you'll notice that nowhere on here do you see File, Open, close, save as. Where's that? Well, right now, if you look up here, there are two places that we haven't talked about right now so far up here, and that is this, the Office button and the QAT, or the QAT as they like to call it, Quick Access Toolbar. I'm not kidding, that's what they call that. It's kind of funny. The QAT. If you want to take it like that. And this is a quick access toolbar that can be adapted, and you could add some of those commands, your favorite commands, all right here, so you don't have to click on each one of these tabs, find the right group, and then add that particular task icon there. But when you click on the Office button, here is where you find those commonly used, remember the old file menus, your new, open, save, save as, print, prepare, send, publish, all these things. And there's a couple of new ones here that we'll cover as we go through our Nugget video series, so just So you know I'm not trying to gyp you out of any information here. But this is where you're going to find if you want a new document, you want to open. Here are the recent documents that I've done. Recording a session, communicating through chat, editing your recordings. These are all things that PowerPoint presentations that I've put together for other clients that I've used. And so now you get a chance to see all this work that I use PowerPoint for. I use it a lot, quite a bit. So it's a real important part of that, recent documents. You can clear this, you can reset it, you can do a lot of things. So that's where you're going to find that. So far you've seen the two really, really new pieces to PowerPoint 2007. Now the rest, all of the stuff down here is actually pretty much the same. So if you look at it, we've gotten the things up above, but down here below you have what is known as the slide pane. Now the slide pane is going to show all of the slides that you have in your presentation in order. This is number 1. If I had a number 2 and added a new one, like let's say I add a new slide, it's going to add a new one right here, and you can see this is slide number 2. So I got slide number 1, I got slide number 2. And so it'll continue to list your slides down here. Now you also can go from a slide pane, which is up here. Notice how my when I roll my mouse over the top of this little tab here, it says you're on the slides pane. If you click here, it will change it to the outline pane. Now the outline pane is used when you want to take a look at things from an outline perspective. And I mean, that makes sense. You're like, okay, tell me something I didn't know, Chris. Well, what I'm talking about is that the title of your slide will appear here at the top and any breakouts. So you'll get to see kind of the outline of your presentation, which is kind of nice to see if the slides flow real well. Here, you're of course just going to get a thumbnail of whatever is appearing there, and that can sometimes, yeah, you see all the slides, but it doesn't really give you the flow that you're looking for. Just a suggestion. So this is the slides pane and the outline pane. You just merely click on either one of these to see these. Now over here, you actually have the slide window. Now this is where, if you are in normal view, you will see a slide, or if you're in slide sorter view, which we'll talk about in a second, you'll see a whole bunch of slides that are displayed, and you can scroll and move backwards or forwards in your presentation to look. If I, right now I'm on 2. If I come over here to my scroll bar and scroll up, it says I'm going now to slide number 1 of 2. But this is where you're going to do a lot of your editing and adding the pictures, the text. This is where you do majority of your editing, is right here in the slide window. Now this is pretty cool because this allows you to, of course, be as flexible as you want. Down below here, and I'm going to grab my mouse. What I'm doing is resizing my pane here. I grabbed it. Notice how when I roll over, it changes to those double bars with the arrows up and down. And if I click and hold, I can change the size of the different panes. If I come over here, it changes to a vertical, and I can move this over just a little bit. So I can adjust the size of my panes down here, whether it's the slide or outline pane, my slide window, or the notes pane, which is the one I want to show you here. This is where you type notes when you're in normal view that you can refer to when you're giving your presentation. Now the neat thing is the audience won't see these notes. These are for you and you alone, so you can keep these. Now, you have the option, by the way, if you're, you want to make these notes available. When you print, you can actually print out the slides with the notes underneath, and then you can hand those out. Makes a great handout. We'll show you how to do that in a future CBT Nugget video here on PowerPoint 2007. So this is the notes. You just simply, like it says, click in here to type notes and type in this is, of course, is a note. I had to make sure I use the S there on the end. So this is a note. So this is where we can do that. Now this is in normal view. Down below, you're going to see that we have the normal view selected. If I move to slide sorter and I click on it, look what it does. It opens it up, and now you get to see thumbnails of each one of your slides in order. And this might be when you really don't need to look at them up and down, but you're just looking at the order slides. Now the neat thing is you can take these slides and then you can move their order. See how I click and drag and it moves right there. So let me go ahead and add a couple of new slides. And so this is slide 3, and now I can move it over here, and it moves in front. And so this now, notice the one I selected becomes the new slide. So this is a really great way for you to kind of organize your slides for your presentation. It's a kind of neat thing. Now, one of the other things that we can do is we can take a look at it in slideshow mode. Now, if I click on slideshow mode, what it'll do is it will take over the entire screen and show nothing but blank. So I'll demonstrate this a little bit later when we actually get into viewing your presentation and previewing your presentation. But just understand, clicking on this button starts the slideshow on whatever slide you're on. So if I was on slide 3 and I click this, the slideshow starts and I'm on slide 3 automatically. So we'll go back here. I'm going to click on my normal view, and this will take it back here to normal so we can see this. And down here below, you'll also see the zoom level. Now, you can do a couple of different things here. The zoom level tells you your current zoom level, which means I'm at 41%, viewing my slide at 41% of what its actual size is. In other words, this isn't the size of the actual slide I would show, obviously, because it doesn't even fill the entire screen, which is what I'd want to do. This is 41% of, in this case, 800 by 600. Now, what is going to happen is we can adjust the size and to view this a little bit different by either using the zoom bar right here. You can click on plus, and it'll pop up. You can click on minus. You can click and hold the bar, and notice how I do that. It goes down, and so if I go up to 100%, this is what 100% would look like, and then of course I'd have to scroll around gently here and see the contents here, just like that. And so that's how I would have to see it. Or you can notice this will do, it'll say fit slide to current window. If you click on this, it kind of goes off here off the edge here, but that's what this does. This is nice. If you just want to get it to fit the slide window right here, click this and boom, it pops it and says 41%. It fits the entire thing in there. Now, of course, you can also, what a lot of people don't know, is you can click on this and you can get the zoom dialog box, which is nice. This kind of gives you some instantaneous, you can zoom to fit, which is just what this button does. You can go to 400%, 200%, 100%, 66, 50, and 33. These are pretty much what they figure very popular. I'm looking for that word. You can also do it in increments of 1 just by clicking here and making your change. You click OK, and then boom, it has zoomed out to 44%. So that's how you can use the zoom bar, which is right down here. Just use it. You can either click on the dialog box, you can click plus, you can click minus, you can move the little bar here, or just fit it into the window. I usually get busy and I'll probably zoom in. I'll zoom in a little bit to look at one of the pictures and get the text to line up. And then when I'm done, here's a little tip. Instead of having to go, oh, what percentage was it to fit in the window? Just click here, fit to window, boom, it's back to where you want it to be. Just real simple. Again, Office 2007, the entire product line is all about ease of use and integration, and so that's why we're able to do that. Now with PowerPoint, you get the same bells and whistles and features that you can expect that you saw in Word, Excel, and any of those. Now a couple other things that you'll see right here. Number one is this has auto spell check in place. And right now currently, because I haven't typed anything, it tells me that there are no spelling errors that have been found in this document. Now of course, when you click on this, it's going to do another spelling check. It's going to say, alright, spelling check is complete. Guess what? There's still no spelling errors because all they do is they have the blank fill-in text. Click to add title, click to add text. No, nothing's misspelled. I'm glad Microsoft was able to spell click and title okay, all right? So that's what we have here. This right here is the name of the theme. Now this is going to be discussed in detail when we talk about formatting the slides themselves and utilizing the themes that can be used, which deal with things like a color theme and your font theme and your structure and things like that, which of course comes over here on the design. When you click on the design, here's your themes, your backgrounds, and you can do your themes with your colors, your fonts, your effects, everything, and make changes as necessary. So that's what that does. So currently, this is the default Office theme, which comes with, as you can see, the very first slide, if you click on it, is a title slide with a subtitle. Your next subsequent slides have a title bar built in, plus a bulleted text and the ability to add, this is your pre-builds, you can insert things. They automatically allows you just to click here instead of having to find it up here. Again, another convenience that you can utilize. So this is a quick tour. Oh, and by the way, this will always tell you right here, if you're in outline mode, you can kind of see which slide it's highlighted. Slides, depending on the color scheme, you can change, by the way, your color scheme of your of how this looks and feels editing. So if you did and the colors, the highlight color doesn't look too out there, you could always just look down here. It tells you you're currently on slide number 2 of 4. If you click on this, it doesn't do anything. If you right click on it, all this does is allow you to customize your status bar. So if you want to remove any of these things, the view indicator, the theme, the spell check, the language, what's being used, the signatures, information management policy we'll talk about. These are turned off, signatures, permissions, things like that, digital signatures. View shortcuts, you can turn these on or off if you want. So for example, I don't want to show the theme. I just merely select this, click off it, and now notice the theme doesn't appear on my status bar. If I want it back, I merely right click, click on theme, and now bada bing, bada boom, there it is, Office theme, all ready to go. So this has shown you your workspace and how you can use it. Now, the one thing I do want to show you for your workspace is something interesting, and that is the Quick Access Toolbar. How can I customize this? Well, if you notice, if you click on this down arrow, it allows you to customize your Quick Access Toolbar. And you can add all the default. Like if you want to add the new button, I click here, and there it is. Set up, ready to go. Do you want to do the open or a quick print? That's always a good one. Let's add quick print so it'll quickly print my slides. Notice how it's adding these to my quick access toolbar, so I don't have to click on the Office button and find certain things, or click on the ribbon here or one of the tabs. Now you can also notice, come down here, you can do the More Commands. Now the More Commands allows you to access every single command that's available to you, and you can put it up here. So don't think you can only add the old file menu type stuff there from the Office button. You can add any command just by simply clicking More Commands. It will then bring up your PowerPoint options under Customize for your Quick Access Toolbar, and then look at this. You can do all commands. When I do all commands, every single command that is available to me, all at my fingertips, I can then add them all. Yeah, then it wouldn't be a quick access toolbar, would it? It would be the toolbar from heck, because it looks horrible. So you don't want to do it. You can also show the quick access toolbar below the ribbon. You can do that here by clicking here, but I'll go ahead and cancel this. You can also come up here and do it. Shown below the ribbon, it just moves it down here onto its own little taskbar. So the quick access toolbar is now set right here, or taskbar set right here. If you want it back, just click the down arrow and say I want to show it above the ribbon. This is also where you allow yourself to say, you know what, I want to minimize the ribbon. I'll add all the good commands I need right here, and then I'm going to minimize the ribbon, which means I have more real estate to work on my slides and work with that. Some people like to do that because you still have the tabs right here. And if you need something, just click on the tab and it'll drop down. And then when you're done, you just click off it. Some people like that because it does give them more real estate in order to do the work that they're looking for. I think we got off on the right foot here with, first off, our definitions of what we mean when we say slides and presentations, and also the difference mainly between a handout and a note and how that all works out. We also took a look at the Office ribbon and the Office button. These are two new features to the PowerPoint 2007 and even to Office 2007, collectively placing all of your file maintenance tools and commands into the Office button. And then the Office ribbon takes the old taskbars and kind of puts them all out there, and then you can choose which one you're viewing at any point in time. We're also going to see that depending on what you do with the Office ribbon, you will get additional tabs based upon when you insert something or do something different. We'll see that later. Speaking of viewing different things, the view panes allowed us to either view the slide, we could view thumbnails of the slides, the outline, or just even sort the slides. We also can view our notes that we can give for ourselves for the presentation. And then ultimately we ended up with the QAT, the Quick Access Toolbar. We saw how we can customize it by adding the commands or tools that we want to it. We can subtract those if we don't want certain ones on there. You can move the location of the Quick Access Toolbar down below the ribbon if you want. So there's many different options. Obviously, choose the most elegant solution that works for you. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.